Well, I think if the statement that we've just had from the Foreign Ministry is any indication, they are going to defend against these accusations rigorously. The Foreign Ministry is saying South Africa's case is, and I'm going to quote here, one of the greatest displays of hypocrisy in history. They go on to accuse Pretoria of acting as the legal arm for Hamas, ignoring the fact that Hamas terrorists infiltrated Israel, murdered, executed, slaughtered, raped and kidnapped Israeli civilians just because they were Israelis. This was an attempt at real genocide. I know that certainly much of the discussion here today is around how South Africa plans to defend itself and the types of arguments it's going to use. We understand it will centre around the fact that there were leaflet drops, multiple leaflet drops, text messages sent to civilians to try and get them out of harm's way in the fighting. We also understand that some of that rhetoric which was used against Israel by senior ministers will be argued that that does not reflect official Gaza policy. And we also expect there to be some discussions potentially around the fact that if Israel really wanted to commit genocide, then it could have certainly gone a lot harder in its military campaign. It's obviously very delicate, the entire discussion, but we know that Israel certainly is going to defend itself in this case, and a lot of the rhetoric that we're hearing today is they are going to defend it rigorously.
Trent, let's just put the legal proceedings to one side and talk about the military operation, because Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has been talking about the military operation in Gaza. What have we heard?
Yeah, that's right. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu releasing a short statement overnight on social media, notably in English, which I think clearly indicates the intended audience was one internationally, and it was discussing the future of Gaza and the fact that Palestinians still absolutely have the right to live there, in his view. Now, this, of course, I think comes off the back of some of those comments we've seen from, for example, the Finance Minister Smotrich around this idea that potentially Palestinians could be emigrated to third countries, seemingly Benjamin Netanyahu trying to just row back that rhetoric and that tone of language, because we know it really did not go down well, even with the American Secretary of State Antony Blinken, when he was here in Israel earlier this week, made it clear that the American policy is for Gazans and Palestinians living in Gaza, rather, should absolutely continue to live there. I'll just read you briefly what Benjamin Netanyahu said. He said, I want to make a few points absolutely clear. Israel has no intention of permanently occupying Gaza or displacing the civilian population. He went on to say the IDF is doing its utmost to minimise civilian casualties, while Hamas is doing its utmost to maximise them. Jamie.
Trent, thank you for that. Our correspondent Trent Murray in Tel Aviv.